Won't you please come join me for some midnight therapy? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Therapy. I'm your host, Kat Matthews. My apologies for the change in scheduling to your program. I give this excuse all the time, but I'm very, very busy and something always comes up. So I didn't intentionally mean to not have the episode out this weekend, and it is now going to most likely come out on Tuesday evening, I'm assuming, at best. So if you're watching this, I hope it's Tuesday evening. But I have a good excuse of why your programming was delayed. And it was because we had an unexpected death in the family. Yes, Christy's beloved grandmother did pass, and it happened out of nowhere. So I do want to dedicate this episode to her, Mary the Mother, as we would call her. Family came in from all over the globe, some from Florida, AJ from the DC area, other family from down the street, also in Jessup. But the house was a hotel, in which I love. I love when the house is a hotel. I like when there's a lot of people living in a house. Like I said it many times before. I like when it's like an episode of Family Matters, like when the aunt and the grandma live in the house and there's 5 brothers and a dog and a weird neighbor named Urkel that comes over. Like I like that. But, however, regardless, either way, sometimes it's a little much. And it wasn't that it was like too much to handle. It was just there was absolutely no way through all of this and having all this family in the house was I going to get a podcast out on Saturday. No way. So I hope you can understand. Let me mention that there was also like a toddler and a baby living with us in the house as well. So it just wasn't possible. AJ did not live with us this time. This is the first time he didn't because he brought his 2 dogs, which don't get along with our dogs. So we couldn't live under the same roof. And I did miss him a bit. Missed him a bit, I will say. But it was nice to have family together. I did a lot of reflecting, deep, introspective reflecting because of this loss that we have all faced in this family. I'm going to talk about it very briefly. And then we are going to deep dive into the low-hanging fruit that is Elon Musk, the LA riots, and of course, everything else in between. But we're not going to do that yet. I need to give you my life recap first. When someone dies, there is a thing that happens. We feel like something has been taken from us. It's like, how could you do this to me? And people will blame life, or they'll blame God, or they'll blame the universe, but it's all the same thing. And the only thing I wish to extend, the philosophy I wish to extend to everyone out there, is that life and God and the universe does nothing to you. It doesn't take anything from you, and it doesn't really give anything to you specific. The ego tells you that it's happening to you, but things are just happening, and things are being taken and things are being given, but it's not to you. It is just happening. It is your perception that views something as a negative or a positive thing. But when you say these things, it doesn't make the feeling of loss any better. It doesn't. Knowing how things work, the rules of life, doesn't make them any more, I guess, comforting. It doesn't make them any more fair. It just helps you understand the rules. Now, Mary, the mother, was 80 years old and had a very hard life, as a lot of people do. But she raised many, many children that have their own children and created immense ties of family and community within her lifetime. That's more than a lot of us can say that we have done. I think more than a lot of us aspire to do that. It's not going to make it any better, but if you can live 80 years and die peacefully, surrounded by family, that is the best case scenario for this earth. That's the best thing that could happen to you is you die of old age, surrounded by family, knowing that you have created strong ties of family community in your lifetime. So, as sad as I am that she passed, I am happy for her that she is now at peace. This is tough on the family. This is tough on everyone. This is tough on every family. It's extremely hard to deal with loss. I think the magic of religion and certain preachers is that they are able, or sages or prophets or whatever you want to call it, they are able to simplify these extremely difficult topics into a way that is understandable by the illiterate, by children, by anyone, by someone extremely emotionally distressed. And that's the beauty of it, if you could simplify big ideas. So I'm going to give you a simplified big idea to close on the topic of life and death. We are all in a dodgeball game. There are dodgeballs flying past our heads every day. You're just trying to stay in the game. That's your goal. Stay in the game and play well. At first, it's real exciting. The first 20 years is you just waiting for the whistle, running as fast as you can to the line, get the ball, and then you calculate your next moves. When life starts getting difficult, right around the time when people start dropping out of the game, and you're kind of paying attention, but you're also worried about your own life. You don't realize someone is positioned incorrectly, or they've just been in the game too long, they're getting tired, and you see them get out. And there's going to be a moment where you peek over to the bleachers where everybody is out, and you're going to see that it's a good amount of your team. And that could be family and friends. And I don't know what age this is, it's different for everybody, but let's say you're 45 and you look over and a lot of your team is out. You may wish to be with them because they're your team. You love them and they've been with you since the beginning. But do you know what they want? They want you to just win the game. You're going to be with them soon. You're going to get out. Sometimes the team is really good, but with life, the team is unbeatable. You're not going to win. No one wins at life. No one gets out of here alive. You know that going in. You're going to lose the dodgeball game. It's just play it as well as you could, as long as you could, and help your team as long as you could, and listen to the team that is no longer with you on the bleachers cheering you on. They would never say, just get out and come join me. They're going to say, keep playing and play well. They're going to be cheering. They wish they were back in the game, but they're not. That's it. Life is a dodgeball game. Play your hardest until you're out. And when your friend or family gets out, remember them, listen to their encouragement, listen to their guidance if you're susceptible to that. But play well, keep going, because you're going to be out soon enough. We're all going to be on the bleachers soon enough. That is my little analogy for you. Do with it what you will. Speaking of the funeral, which was a nice procession, I wore this. This was Mary the Mother's personal jewelry. They put the jewelry out for the women to look through. And I thought that was, not necessarily the right terminology because I wanted one. And I got this. And I wore it at the viewing and the funeral. It went over really well. I wore black, and this was a nice accent piece. Got lots of compliments. And now I'm wearing it on this show. Thank you. One more time, Mary the Mother. But speaking of funerals, I was, ADHD, bored, it happens at one point or another over this weekend. So what do I do when I'm bored? I bust out a random fact I heard somewhere, or so I think a fact. But somewhere I read that, you know how the old folk call the living room the parlor? And you're like, what? They're like the cellar, the parlor, supper, those old words. Well, the parlor comes from funeral parlor, in which they used to have the viewing in your home. You'd have like an open casket in your living room or parlor room, and people would come to the house and they would bring food and drink and spend the whole evening there talking with the family, and that's where that came from. So once they moved it and it became a completely different building altogether, a whole different brick and mortar, a funeral parlor, your parlor at home that was once a room of death became a room of living, in which they call it the living room. Pretty fascinating, huh? I believe, Mike the Barber, if you're listening, is that the same for a shave parlor? That it was once done at the home? I don't know if that's true. But I do believe, fact check me if you will, that that is where the origin of living room comes from. A little history for you. Another little life recap. I finished the school year. I was substitute teaching. And now I am on summer break. So that's why you are getting a podcast on a Tuesday. So that's great. I feel good. I could finally relax. Things got hectic right at the very end. So obviously, I didn't really have a day off yet. This is technically my first day off. I'm going to try to enjoy it as best as I can. I was called about a radio co-host position from a pretty big radio station, and I did do an interview on the phone, and it was like an hour, and they were kind of interested in me, which I think is kind of flattering. It's comforting to know that these radio executives were listening to me rant about flowers for 15 minutes, and they thought it was entertaining enough to call me, and that's nice. I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward, but just want to let you all know that that happened. And people that are in the biz like what I'm putting out. They are smelling what they're stepping in when it comes to me, which is nice. You guys, the loyal 60 some, saw it before anyone else, so thank you. Thank you. Let's jump into these current events, and I need to start, and I'm usually not boastful or braggadocious, but I'm going to be. How right was I about the Trump and Elon Musk thing? I feel like not a lot of people were saying it. I got a lot of flack from a lot of people. Mike the Barber gave me flack, saying that those two were like inseparable. They were, they were married. They were like a married couple together forever and ever. That was puppy dog lust. That was young love. And now we're all watching the ugly divorce. Trump and Musk are done. And I'm not reiterating everything step by step. I'm not regurgitating like a mother bird into a baby bird's mouth exactly what happened on the news. This show is not for you getting your the initial news. This is me telling you my opinion about said news. If you need fact-checked word for word quotes and dissertations, go somewhere else. This show is not that. However, if you are paying attention, Musk and Trump are at each other's throats on X and Truth Social and Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Because Elon is no longer working for the government or for Trump or in the administration or part of the cabinet or any involvement with Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, which I had a lot of optimistic hope in at first, but it turned out to be just a farce. And like any good farce, it comes to an end eventually before people get disinterested and eventually turn on said farce. Musk was getting he was a little much for a little too long, and the chainsaw and the drug use and him rolling his eyes and falling asleep and trying to be this funny person, like it was so cringy. The car lot at the White House lawn, like it just got so cringy, and there was no results produced. That Trump, being the master businessman, stab you in the back guy that I do believe you have to be to get to his position, used Musk as a fall guy, which is right out of Trump's playbook. That's what he does. He gets what he needs from you. He does his favor back. He's a man of his word. He kept Musk around for a long time, way longer than he should have been kept around for. Let him do the stupid Tesla stunt to get the sales up. Let him come and talk in Trump's desk at the Oval Office. He let him say all this nonsense. He could have ultimately propelled his many businesses upward if he played his cards right and just stayed in the shadows and didn't put it all on the table. Like, you want people to speculate what he's doing. They want you to say, oh, look, Musk is doing some big stuff in the background there. That's why Trump's keeping it in the background. No, the guy was on TV every day for 3 weeks straight, putting his foot in his mouth every time, making people go, I don't really think this guy is a genius. I think he was a lucky guy with investments that doesn't believe in anything he stands for and only supported Trump to get in the position of second in command to, let's say, benefit his own pursuits, you know? And I think a lot of people, even the really big MAGA people, were kind of done with Musk. They were fed up with Musk. At least I was. No results were produced. It seemed like a big grift. I knew Trump uses people as fall guys, and Musk became the fall guy. But when it happened, it was like Musk was almost shocked. It was almost like Musk thought he was just getting one up on Trump this whole time. Like, Trump has no idea I only funded his campaign to get into a position of power and that I really don't believe in the middle class. Like, did he really believe that Trump was just falling for it? I don't know. I don't know. But the minute Trump fired him, Musk was like betrayed, as if he had no idea this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And if you go back, I predicted all this. Go look, episode 43. That's like over 2 months ago. I was ranting about this. And this just happened. So I don't know. Where's my, I don't know. Where's the following? Where's the endorsement deal? Where's my Aldi sponsorship? Vivek Ramaswamy saw the writing on the wall early. He wanted to save his career and save face. And he left Doge because of, what I think a smarter or politically savvy gentleman like Vivek saw that Elon didn't, was that this was a farce and that the American people would know that it was a farce. Musk, my only prediction, or my only recommendation rather, is that Musk should have stayed in the shadows a little deeper. You don't need to, sometimes you could say too much. That's all I'm saying. And Musk said a little too much. And now he's, like in any divorce, this is the American divorce. America, the country, is getting divorced, and it's sad. And we are the kids. All of us are the kids watching the parents fight publicly and ugly. It's not good. But the problem is now, because Musk has his feelings hurt, he's like a divorced person. He's someone getting a divorce. He's not doing well. He's toxic a little. He is saying he is like a woman. Musk is a woman that, the husband filed for divorce, and the woman is like, I have pictures that he beat me, and I'm going to let everyone know. And she's going on Facebook, and she's saying he was a narcissist, and there's local single guys that are bald in the comments saying, honey, you deserve so much better. He better not catch me outside at the grocery store. I'll give him a piece of my mind. Like, and then she's already over another guy's house and drinking wine, saying, I didn't do anything wrong. And the guy goes, yeah, I know. That's what's going on now. And that's Musk. His version of that is going on X saying Trump was on the Epstein list. Okay. And you knew that the whole time and still endorsed him and gave $250 million to his campaign, even though you knew that. Then you're richer than him. How do we know you weren't on the Epstein list? Out of everyone's odd behaviors, you're like a sperm donor to random women on the internet. You want to repopulate the Mars with your weird offspring that's named after letters. His kid's name is like X45C3PO. Like, oh, am I supposed to trust him as the truth giver sage? He goes, look, I'm the richest man on the planet. And I supported Trump's campaign until, I don't know, yesterday. But let me tell you, he's on the Epstein list. Okay. That's another thing I predicted, though. I said this was never getting out. And it's not just because Trump may or may not be on the Epstein list. It's because people equally as important as Trump or more important than Trump are on that list. That's why it's never going to get out. I feel bad for poor RFK. Trump's like, hey, RFK, like, come on my campaign, come on my side, and I will release what happened to your uncle and your father. And now RFK is getting none of that information. We're not getting any of that information. That's over. He goes, oh, sorry. I need you to focus on making sure people on food stamps don't buy Oreos anymore. Imagine you thought you were going to be researching your father and uncle's assassination, but you're really looking at how many, cancer-causing carcinogens are in the Oreo cookie, and then making legislation to not let people on government assistance buy the cookie, but instead buy the Aldi brand that only has, 7 ingredients, which I endorse. I agree. If you're on like government assistance and you're on food stamps, you should not be getting name brand. And I'm so sorry. First of all, I mean, these are temporary programs to get you back on your feet. You're not supposed to be on them for 14 years. And your cart's not supposed to be full. If the poor people that are working every day have to skimp and put the DiGiorno pizza back, you do not need name brand Coca-Cola. You should get cola, the store brand, the Sure Save, the Great Value, the Dr. Thunder. You do not need to be having Lunchables. You know what I'm saying? You should be getting a pack of ground beef. You should be getting discount government cheese. You should be getting a bag of rice. You should be getting box pasta. You should be getting ragu. Maybe you should get the knockoff red bag chicken nuggies from Aldi, but you don't get the Tyson dinosaurs. I'm sorry. If you're on government assistance, stop caring about name brand. I mean that. You should get a purse from a church flea market donation center, not a Louis Vuitton. You're on food stamps. Do you understand that? And the only reason they keep giving you the food stamps is because you vote a certain way to keep getting the food stamps. They're buying your vote, whatever that means, with the goodies, just so you all know. They don't want you to be able to pay for your own Keebler Elf cookies. They need you to get them for free from the government, and then like a mobster, they remind you, remember who got you those cookies next 4 years. Remember who got you those Keeblers. I could give them, I could take them away. But that's what RFK is working on, which I do agree with. It is God's work. I'm being honest, but I don't think that's what he was led into initially as the job description. I thought he probably assumed he was going to be doing something a little more fulfilling, but that's fine. Joe Biden back on the news, back in the news cycle. His auto pen signatures Trump's looking into, and honestly, is this shocking? Do we we just forget because there's so much going on all the time. We forget what it was like, but Joe Biden wasn't there. Like, we all know that. The debate proved it, and then he gave his candidacy to Kamala Harris, who never earned it. And then for like those several months, he was just the president, but not really. And then after Trump won, there was still a lame duck period where he was still the president, but not really. He was probably getting a basic briefing between naps about what was going to be signed today, and they used that auto pen, essentially a stamp, to sign all those last tidying up bills and pardons. And is that shocking? No. Is Trump going to look into it, maybe revoke them? Probably. Probably. Um, his cognition is now back in the news. I guess Barack Obama's White House doctor is making comments saying that there's no way that Biden's White House doctor didn't check his cognition. And if he did, they lied about it. I mean, did we know about the cancer? Like, I don't know. It was at stage 4. I just can't imagine that just happened out of nowhere. I mean, there had to be an inkling of, I don't know, checks being done. I mean, this is the White House. This is the most prestigious office in the land. You would think there'd be some checks when you have an 80-some-year-old president with medical conditions and medical history. But what do I know? Why we look into the past? It's already over. That's old news. Old news. I'm telling you this Trump-Musk battle and even this Biden thing and all the other shit they keep telling us, I do believe is just a distraction. I think everything's a distraction. I really mean this. Every single thing in the modern world is a distraction. And what I mean by that is nothing happens organically 100%. Everything is slightly, coaxed and driven to where certain people want it to be. There are gutters on the bowling alley. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a little tap. Like, we want it to go this way. We want it to go that way. Like, nothing just happens. So, I mean, there could be a myriad of things that they are covering up with these distractions. I don't know. I'm not going to get into this. I can't. I can't even begin to speculate what they're plotting. Maybe it's the Palantir AI nationwide citizen database that Trump wants and endorses and completely is a slap in the face to his base. Maybe it's that, because that happened in the shadows of all this. Look that up. As Musk and as mommy and daddy have a little fight, wine drunk mommy goes on the internet and starts talking about the one time she was pushed by daddy in years ago, and she still has the pictures on her MySpace. So who knows what they are distracting us for? But I could definitely tell you the distractions. What we just mentioned, and also these LA riots. I'm going to call them riots because I'm a logical person and I like definitions to be accurate. Now, I go on my Facebook here, and Facebook's the fun one. I get my news from all over. I get this data from everywhere. But Facebook, I like because it's people's opinions. They like share their opinion about the news, kind of like the show. Except on Facebook, nobody gives a shit what you think. And usually, people are just sending your post to other people, making fun of how ridiculous you are, whether you like it or not. People probably do it to me. I do it to other people. It's funny. It's either that or fart videos. But from what I've seen of the people of my area commenting on this that lean, let's say, left, they are saying that it's rude to call it a riot, that it's just a peaceful protest. And they are grasping at straws to justify it. Like, I saw someone say they're using a photo from the George Floyd riots of a car burning, and that was an old photo. As if there wasn't. Maybe they did do that, sure. But are you going to pretend there's not other photos of cop cars on fire that were taken literally yesterday? That's your argument? That the one photo that a news company used in their public record photo domain that they just picked, does it matter what cop cars on fire if there's still cop cars on fire? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, but that one was from 3 years ago. They're lying to us. Well, no, the picture was wrong. I'll give you that. They used the wrong photo. But there are plenty. There's a plethora of photos of current cop cars being burned as we speak. So, invalid argument. But no, everyone's upset that they're being called riots. So I hope I don't offend anyone. But a protest crosses the line into a riot when public property is being vandalized and people are getting attacked. So that's what's going on. So it is a riot. Um, the the officials, the governor and the mayor of LA and the governor of California, are upset that Trump sent the National Guard. They're saying, well, he just made things worse. Now the tensions are higher. That's like you fighting at recess and the principal comes over and another kid going, stop, you'll just make it worse. Don't break it up. Let them duke it out. You're going to make it worse. They're going to fight after school now. And that's the mindset we're in. We're like, just let it burn because I don't really believe in any consequences. That's where people are at right now. And I don't think this idea or this protest or riot just came out of nowhere organically. This is probably like all the other ones. You find something that people might care about in a certain place. And the perfect place they picked was the fallen once great city of LA. That's a great spot to pick. It's a sanctuary city. There's a lot of welfare. There is a lot of illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot of left leaning liberal people that maybe at heart wish to stand up for, I guess, say, marginalized communities. Is that a good way to put it? So you have the people that are empathetic to certain causes that really don't concern them, and they're willing to be vocal about it on the street. They probably don't work, and they are able to take off a day and make a sign and go on the streets and yell. That we know this. So the ingredients are there. So now you have all the undocumented people that are, very likely, if they committed a crime, going to get deported. Now, the list that I've seen of people that have gotten deported are not just people that have done nothing wrong. It seems to be some people with criminal records that are in LA for a very specific reason. It's because they're a sanctuary city that's very easy on criminal justice, and they release a lot of people that commit crimes, citizen or not. There's also a lot of homeless people in LA, let's just be honest, and there's a lot of homeless people on drugs. This is a problem. I'm not making this up. I'm not saying this in a negative fashion to disparage anyone. These are the facts. So you have this big bowl of factors, and then you start something like a protest to defend illegal immigrants from being deported unjustly. Trump stokes the fire a bit, sends the National Guard, tries to keep order. The officials, the governing officials of LA, say that Trump's wrong for that. What kind of message does that send to the people so the people get more violent? They burn more, they steal more, they loot more, they fight more. Now, what does Trump do? He's sending in the Marines, which I think is almost unprecedented, at least in modern times. I've never seen the active military. I see National Guard, see National Guard Reserve. I've never seen a branch of the military sent in, nonetheless, the Marines. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but it seems like they want us to believe there is some type of civil war going on. And here's how easy it is. All you need is a few agent provocateurs to lead the sheep. So these agent provocateurs are the shepherds that lead the sheep the way they want. This goes on all the time. This happened at the George Floyd riots. They got it cooking all over the world over George Floyd. And now we look back and we know that the George Floyd death, tragic as it was, had really nothing to do with race. No matter which way you want to split it, it didn't have anything to do with race. Police brutality, sure. If you want to protest for police brutality, but this sparked like a Black Lives Matter worldwide protest, and it convinced a lot of people that America was a systemically racist country. You could say America has a criminal justice problem. That's fair, but not race. You know what I'm saying? But all it takes is that to get people passionate. Now, the George Floyd thing had a lot, people were more passionate about that issue. As I said, with the LA stuff, those people are passionate about everything. Anyone who is moderately wronged to a cause they believe in, they're passionate about. Now, if you talk about systemic racism, that gets people of all walks of life passionate. So that one had a bigger outcome, of course. The George Floyd protests, aka riots, were more widespread, if you remember. And they quickly turned to riots as well. They said fiery yet peaceful protest. You remember all this stuff. I am just refreshing you. They burnt down CNN headquarters as they were saying it was a peaceful protest. The irony. Um, that is where a figure like Kyle Rittenhouse came from. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't even from that area. He went to a specific area where things were getting looted to defend businesses and ultimately killed people in self defense. And he was, obviously innocent in court. Now, they want people to watch their TV or the idiot box and go, someone's got to do something about this. And a gun loving right winger is going to get maybe in his car and go there and defend businesses, but really just stir the pot more. That's what I think they ultimately want. I really do. I think that's what they wanted with the insurrection, quote unquote, January 6th. Now, speaking of the agent provocateurs there, they quite literally opened the gates and let the people in. You saw that, and it takes a couple people to get in, then everybody comes in. We know how it works. We know how human nature works. You know that if you got front row to the concert because somebody wasn't looking, everyone's going to run in. We are very predictable creatures, ultimately. With the George Floyd protests / riots, there was pallets of bricks left out. No one knows how they got there. Cinder blocks. Like, this is part of the plan. If you don't know what an agent provocateur is, look it up, but they're always there. There was feds on January 6th dressed in MAGA gear, coaxing the sheep through the herd, the flock. There was a shepherd leading them. It was a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's up to you to know who the wolves are and what their motive might be. Ultimately, it's to create civil unrest. We need America to look like it's in shambles. It will help the world respond accordingly to the weakened empire. All part of the plan, though. Everybody knows it. Everybody has an idea. But the problem with America is it's so large and diverse that you need to get half the country to believe a certain thing for it to really matter. If only a few people care, nobody cares. But this new LA riot thing, it seems like they are snapping the pictures right at the right time, right when there's a car on fire, right when there's a guy with a mask holding a Mexican flag. It looks good. There's like professional photographers ready for that moment. Like Trump holding his fist up with the blood on his face and the flag in the background perfectly. That's a great photo. That's an award-winning photo. The Mexican flag holding man on top of the burning car, that's a great photo. And you're going to put it on the news cycle every, 4 minutes so that whenever you turn on the news, you think you're living in Armageddon. But in reality, you're probably not. There's always staged photos. There's always a need for a headline. And the news companies love this. They're having a field day with this. It was a slow news cycle for a while. Then the Musk thing happened. When it rains, it pours. It's like on a slot machine. You get hot. Oh my God, Musk and Trump broke up. Oh my God, there's a riot. Nobody even cares about Greta Thunberg getting her ship detained like a pirate. She was on like a sailboat going to give food to Gaza. First of all, is she even relevant anymore? First of all, why was she even relevant in the first place? Third of all, whatever I said, why is she on a sailboat bringing croissants to the people in Gaza? Like I don't know, is that for a headline? For publicity? For her brand? Like what brand? What are you doing? Is that supposed to make us go, wow, she's a hero? What, she won a Nobel Prize? She going to say she was a hostage? The Israeli military commandeered their ship, or I don't know, they detained her ship, her pirate ship, or her sailboat that had Uncrustables on it for the people in Gaza. That would have been a news story if there wasn't a PSYOP LA riot and Musk and Trump didn't have a breakup publicly. But they do try. They always have to have something to talk about, and they're doing pretty good at it. Either way, it's bad optics, I'll tell you that. Having the Marines go to a once prosperous city in California and unleashed the military on America's own people. That's not good. It's not good, but it is leading up to what Trump ultimately wants, which is a declared state of war, whether foreign or domestic, so he could unleash the martial law and stay in presidency forever, and then ultimately just give it to JD Vance without an election. Trump means it when he says, "I don't know, I might stay for a third term." He means it. It's just too early to talk about yet. He's a man of good timing. He will justify it. It'll be justifiable, and half the country will believe it. And even the left leaning people, if you're moderate left, your Trump hate is fading. I'm going to tell you because, I don't think you're as mad at him anymore. I really don't. You might hate him, but you're starting to see that it's hard to get behind letting people burn down LA just because people that committed multiple crimes are getting deported. That's a hard issue to still believe in. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be against Trump on that. It's hard to say, well, I guess he shouldn't have sent the National Guard. And then what? Well, I guess they should have just burnt the city down. I guess they should be allowed to stay if they are committing crimes as illegal immigrants. Like, it's hard to say all that. Like, you kind of have to say, I'm kind of with Trump on this. Like, and that's what he's doing. He's playing chess, and he's doing it well. The American Empire, however, is falling, just like the Roman Empire fell. We spread our reach way too far, just like Rome. We don't have a core set of values anymore, just like Rome. There's no assimilation to the culture. People come here and they hate America. They like are flying the flag of another country. What's up with that? See, like these riots, they're flying the Mexican flag. Isn't that the country you left and came here illegally from? If you love it, go back. You know what I'm saying? It's like me going to Universal with a Disney flag. Just go to Disney if you don't like it here. I am a simplified person. If you're flying that Mexican flag and proud of it, go live there. There's no problem going that way across the border. They'll let you right out. Go. I mean it. If you hate this place, why are you here? Why are you so adamant about making your voice heard about how much you hate this place? I don't know. I just don't get it. But this is exactly what happened in Rome. They called anyone that wasn't Roman a barbarian. They said barbarians at the gates is what caused the country to fall. Now, again, I think we have amnesia. I think we forget. But do you remember that Biden was just letting illegal immigrants into the country? Like millions came in. There was absolutely no border control. The border was advised to let everyone in. And then they lowered the numbers slowly. And he was like, I'm only letting in 20,000 a day. And everyone went, yeah. Why were you letting anyone in unvetted? As if it was only women and children looking for a better life. Yeah. There was like military age men mostly. And it was people from all over the world. They were from the Middle East. They were from Asia. You know, I saw all the videos. You're not going to fool me. But it's like that was part of the plan. We need the uprising. We need them to say, hey, we're giving you goodies. We're letting you stay. And big bad Trump wants to get you out of here. What are you going to do about it? And then they bring the cartel style, let's say not first world mentality to LA and unleash a riot and maybe even territory war with the United States government. Now, might be fine for National Guard, but good luck with the Marines. That's all I'm saying. And it's going to be like a Revolutionary War, the shot that start the war, when somebody spits in a Marine's face or something and has a flag and they burn the American flag in front of this guy who lost people and lost brothers, and he has a little snap moment and somebody just gets shot. That's what's going to maybe happen. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not can't predict the future, but I could logically predict what might happen due to the circumstances that I think were all intentional. Why would Biden let those people in? Why? Just because? No, it was ultimately leading to something like this. They're always playing chess, both sides. You can't play chess by yourself. The left is playing the long game, the right's playing the long game. Trump's is just, he's an unpredictable player. Like Trump, like Musk was like a rook that he just sacrificed. Because I don't need the rook. Bye. would have came in handy maybe. Oh, look, he got rid of the rook. He only willingly sacrificed his rook because he has something else in the works. Remember that. It ain't over till the king falls. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just telling you, it doesn't look good. Sorry, Greta Thunberg, you got put on the back burner. Nobody cares about your ship of Uncrustables getting seized by the Israeli government. Nobody even cares what's going on over there now because we're so worried about us. You know, we're not worried about Russia anymore. We're not worried about Gaza anymore. We're not worried about China taking over and the AI and the. We're worried about those riots in LA. They're crazy. Did you see them? The old guys getting the coffee. You see those riots? That's crazy. Even and if you're anti-Trump, you're like, see what he did? He's going to cause a civil war. That's what he's going to do. In other news, Bonnie Blue, the woman, the whatever you want to call her, OnlyFans content creator, whatever, that was known for sleeping with 1,000 men in one day, is now upping the ante to 2,000 in her petting zoo stunt. Look that up. And the only reason I mention that is I want you to understand that weird things happen at the end of an empire when it's about to fall. Rome had a lot of weird stuff going on, and America is the the poster child of weird things happening at the end of an empire. I mean, I turn on my phone or the TV or whatever every day, and I'm more and more perplexed at what's happening. I saw this woman or whatever, it was a trans woman, whatever, in like a dress with a hairy chest, accepting some award that I never even heard of. I didn't even know the award show was on. I don't know what it was for. And that was just on like I don't like the TV. And I was like, oh, well, okay. And then I opened Facebook to get away from it, and I see Bonnie Blue. She's doing a petting zoo stunt where she sleeps with 2,000 men. So Sydney Sweeney selling her bathwater. So you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the end of an empire. The spoils of the end of an empire. And if you were smart, you would take all you can when it's available. So more power to those people buying the name brand uh, Pepsi with government assistance money because it's the spoils of the end of the empire. Enjoy it. Sit back, laugh, and watch. Why did we fall? Polarization. It's good to create tension and split the country in half, left and right, and all that, and black, white, gay, straight. It's fun. They just went too far, and now we live on the radical ends of the spectrum, and we are easily distracted by things that trigger us because we're programmed to be triggered because we have such a tribal mindset of our individuality. I am a white Christian male that supports Donald Trump all the time and only Donald Trump, and I believe in God and guns, and I don't like blue haired or pink haired women. Like, that is that. And then it's, I am a pansexual librarian looking pink haired feminist scooter driver that is loving of all things and vegan, and I hate people that like America, and toxic masculinity is real, and I will never trust a man to do anything, and I think women should be gas drillers on the pipeline. Like, it's that or that, and nothing in between, which is crazy. And this is, I don't know if we're gonna ever wake up, because if we wake up, the game's over. You got like 5% of people controlling the whole world. And if the 95 woke up and realized what's going on, I don't know. I think the game would end. But I don't see it ending anytime soon. You need to live in your own little world, like I always say. Live in your own little world and stop looking at the big picture. The big picture is, it's too much. It's too much. It's not able. You're not able to comprehend it, and it will only cause you to be probably depressed. I mean that, unless you can laugh at it like I do. America is falling, and this divorce of MAGA is a big contributor to the end. I'm going to tell you that right now. Musk is not Trump. He's a little, as they say, wet behind the ears. He's the world's richest man. He has a lot of power. He has a lot of ego. But Trump said, buddy, you're just starting to learn how this game works. and you were a little too eager, and it's time to go. I'm not letting you take this ship down. But I respect you. Like Trump goes, I respect you. Wish him well. That's what he really wrote. I wish him well. But Musk is a little arrogant and a little young and a little naive. And he thought because of his status and rank that he was eternal, but he's not. So unless he humbles himself and learns a little, he's probably going to get into a war with Trump that he will not win. That's all I'm saying. Power is more important than money. That's all I could say. That's why people go into politics, not for the money. The money is just a perk that comes later. The power is everything. That's what people strive for in this life. They want power over anything and anyone, especially if you are narcissistic and psychopathic, which is a lot of people in politics. You're not getting the good, morally, conscientious people that meditate and are calm and logical. And you're not getting those people. They don't want to run for office. They want to be left alone. The people that run for office are people that they sit there and someone goes, you're going to lose everything. You're going to lose your wife. You're going to lose your kids. You're going to be in the public eye. Your life will never be the same. It's going to be a cutthroat business. You're never going to sleep. And they go, yeah. I want it. I just want it. And they go, okay, well, we'll fund your campaign. There's no loyalty. Are you okay with that? They go, yeah, I don't care. I hate everyone. Okay. Welcome to politics. Yeah. I just want some credit, though. I did predict a lot of this. I predicted a lot of this. I say a lot of stuff on this show. You 60-some listeners are getting a treat. Getting a treat. Did you see Dr. Phil was like part of the ICE raids? He was like with ICE. That should tell you we're either in a simulation or it's the end. Like I said, the Bonnie Blue and the Sydney Sweeney, and now Dr. Phil, like being immigration police. Who's next? The Mike Lindell, My Pillow guy? Like on the front lines of ICE? They both have the same voice, by the way. Hey, you, if you don't have papers, get out of here. Hi, I'm Mike Lindell. Cancel culture ruined my life. Please buy the Giza Dream bed sheets so you can have a nice nap on the bus ride back to your country as you are deported. If you need psychological help or evaluations, Dr. Phil will provide you with a packet. My wife left me. I'm so sorry to hear that, Michael. Here is your packet. Don't come again. I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. Have a good day now. This episode is brought to you in part by Three Saints Barbershop and Jack's Pub and Eatery, located in historic downtown Jessup, Pennsylvania. Hung out with Mike the Barber a little during this hectic week. He trimmed me up very nicely. AJ was in. AJ came down, had a trim. We had a few beverages. It was nice. It was a very nice time. You got to take the good from the bad. You got to take the good from the bad. And like I said, to circle back, life and death. You're in this dodgeball game. Do not be distracted. The news is when someone they have two dodgeballs, they throw one up, you go to catch the one because it's a lobber, and then someone nails you with a fastball to the face. Do not get too distracted. Worry about your dodgeball game. You have people on the sidelines rooting for you. Now go win. And stop worrying about Greta Thunberg or Trump or Musk or any of them, because they're all billionaires. They don't give a shit about you. They never will. They just need you to believe that they care about you and that you have a stake in the game. But in reality, we're probably all just sheep, and they're shepherds or wolves in sheep's clothing, or both, coaxing us to a certain endpoint. I want you to find your own endpoint. That's all I'm saying. That's what the show is. This is therapy. I'm not a licensed therapist. But with that being said, stay curious, my friends. Good night.